Joining us now, Michael Tyler, Communications Director for the Harris-Walz campaign, formerly Communications Director for the Biden-Harris campaign. The last time you were here. Thank you very much, Michael, for joining us tonight. Stock market had hit a record high today, so that's one review of how the convention went. And here's something I'm a little confused about. Do you believe you have a confirmed debate date of September 10th with ABC and Donald Trump is going to show up?
Well, thank you so much for having me this evening, Lawrence. It's a pleasure to be here. I would assume so. We certainly hope so, right? I think what you have is both candidates themselves who agree on the debate format, right? We have both candidates who now agree that we should have a full-throated debate with live microphones for the duration that fully allows for both candidates to clearly articulate their visions for where they want to take this country. I think we'll see whether or not Donald Trump allows his handlers to overrule his decision that he made today. But as of today, we have two candidates who have agreed to the same format, and so we look forward to the debate on September 10th. You'll have a vice president in Kamala Harris who's able to articulate her positive vision for where she wants to take this country, creating an opportunity that allows her folks not just to get by, but to get ahead, as you heard in that ad. Somebody who stands up for women's reproductive rights, somebody who stands up for our democracy, and Donald Trump, in his full unhinged self, will be ranting about his own personal grievances when he's not talking about things like banning abortion or cutting taxes for the rich. And so we assume that the American people are going to have a very real opportunity to see a very stark choice in this election between Vice President Harris and Donald Trump.
Bill Clinton's successful 1992 campaign was about the economy. In this final run, in these 70 days, it was about the economy and really nothing else. Can this campaign be reduced to a single issue like that between now and Election Day?
Yeah, well, listen, I think what this election is going to come down to is a fundamental choice for where we want to take this country. Do we want a new way forward, as many Americans have been demanding and the vice president is speaking to, or do we want to allow Donald Trump to drag us back into the past? That's fundamentally what this race is going to be about. Are we going to continue to move forward and make economic progress, as you were citing earlier tonight? Are we going to continue to stand up for women's reproductive health care? Are we going to allow Donald Trump to continue to drag us backwards by banning abortion nationwide, by returning us to the failed economic approach that only benefits people like Donald Trump? Are we going to allow a return to the violence and the chaos that we saw on January 6th? So regardless of the issue, on every single issue, you have a fighter in Vice President Harris who is standing up for the American people and fighting to take us forward. And on the other side, you have Donald Trump, who's airing his own personal grievances, and on every issue, again, is dragging us backwards. And so that's the fundamental contrast in this race over the course of the last 2 months.
I know you had a huge surge of volunteers, literally the day that the Harris for President campaign started, and I know some of the young people who were among that group. Do you have enough? Do you want more? Do you have too many? What does the campaign need? What would you like to see in terms of help from voters at this point?
Yeah, listen, so we're very excited about the momentum, the energy, the grassroots energy that we see on the ground. Frankly, what we've been most excited about as the vice president and the governor have traveled around all of the battleground states, you've seen the large crowds, right? And from places like Eau Claire, Wisconsin, to Detroit, Michigan, to Phoenix, to Las Vegas, where you've had 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 people show up to these rallies. But frankly, what we're more encouraged by is the fact that when people are showing up, they're also signing up to volunteer for this campaign. When the vice president went to Atlanta, for example, 10,000 people at Georgia State. We had 1,500 people at that event sign up to volunteer with this campaign. Those are the people who are going to be knocking on doors, making phone calls, directly engaging in their neighborhoods with their networks about the stakes of this election. And so as we move forward here over the final 71 days of this campaign, we need everybody, yes, come to the events, but also go to KamalaHarris.com, sign up, volunteer, do the work. It's going to take all of us putting in everything we've got over the last 2 months, because while there's a lot of energy, while there's a lot of enthusiasm, this is still going to be a very close and competitive presidential race. This is going to come down to tens of thousands of votes in a handful of states. You look at Georgia, for example, famously decided by 11,780 votes. You have the election board there trying to play games, laying the groundwork to overturn the results of an election if Donald Trump should lose again. So again, we have to make sure that we turn out every single vote and that, of course, every vote is counted. So we need it's an all hands on deck moment for us as we approach the final stretch of this campaign.
Michael Tyler, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.